and welcome to episode 21 of the Geek Remix podcast, where we talk about news and shit that we're doing all throughout the week and other fun stuff. My name is Mari.
And I'm Stacy.
This week in gaming drama news, we have the Bro Team Pill controversy, in which Bro Team Pill outlines exactly how badly they've been mistreated and not been paid for services rendered for months at a time, then asks that they be taken out of their contract due to the fact that they have not been paid.
And Machinima basically said, go suck a dick.
Yeah. And also, one of the Machinima employees talked crap about him in a video, and then when people uploaded that video to show exactly how he's being treated with evidence, Machinima threatened legal action against the uploader. So lots of people mirrored the video and showed it to other people. So now everybody knows their dirty laundry. And I know that some people are going to say, well, they signed a contract and so on and so forth. But in all contracts, including this one, it says that if one person isn't being paid, the contract is null. So he has the right to actually not be in contract anymore. He's not getting any money. They refuse to unlink his channel.
Yep.
It's pretty bad, and honestly, this is a common problem for the larger MCNs. Multi-channel networks is what an MCN stands for on YouTube, in that what happens is that these multi-channel networks will bring in a ton of smaller YouTube channels, and these people, mostly young people, don't know what they're getting into. Or they'll have them sign a contract and have in small letterings, we are allowed to change this contract whenever we feel like it.
And without telling you.
Without telling you, which is technically legal, but it's also something that is very it's very frowned upon. And so they get all these tiny channels in which they make a few dollars off of each, and they make money, but each channel isn't treated well at all, and they're not getting any services. Like RPM Network, which is now Maker Gen. Do not join them. We just got out of contract with them, and now I can finally say, fuck those people. They're awful. I didn't want to say anything in videos while I was trying to get out of them, because I didn't think that was not saying that what Bro Team Pill's doing right now is wrong. That what they're doing is right. I just didn't want to, do anything bad.
That's why we stopped running ads.
Yeah, we stopped running ads.
Horrible.
Yeah, they're pretty bad. Just everything they do. And so now we have ads back and everything, so it's great. But For us. But Machinima is the company that Bro Team Pill is being forced to stay with right now. And basically the rundown is that he wasn't being paid for months at a time. Other people who work for Machinima wasn't being paid for months at a time. People were being laid off. And one person actually walked into the office, saw a bunch of invoices on the desk, and said, what is going on? And the guy said...
In the finance department.
In the finance department. And the guy was like, well, we don't actually have to pay them.
Yeah.
We don't have to pay them. Which is come on. So if you guys...
They fired the two people that were in charge of, essentially in charge of, keeping track of Bro Team Pill. And then when he tried to get in touch with the people who were supposed to be, his handlers, was told that they no longer worked for the company and hadn't for some time. But they never bothered to, update him with a new contact at the company. Which is, horrible management.
And one of the funny things that I thought was just so ridiculous is that the new way they wanted to make money was they wanted to uplift several channels to the level of PewDiePie and make money that way. As if that's you can just do that.
Yeah.
You can just let's just make him like PewDiePie. I'm like, what are you talking about? Do you have any idea what you're talking about? It's so dumb.
There isn't really I don't know. With people that try to try specifically to create viral content, I don't know.
All right, I'm going to say this outright. I was contacted by a small marketing firm, unnamed, and they were like, oh, blah, 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 help us do stuff. And then after a while, I was like, I'm starting to think that you just want me to repeat the ideas that you said to your female boss so that she'll be more receptive to a woman saying it. And they're like, well, yes and no. And I was like, so then that means yes. And then they kept saying, oh, we need a viral idea. And then I would say, okay, do it like this. And they're like, well, that's not really like a video that would go viral. And it's just like, what are you talking about? Because you can't just think, I'm going to make a viral video and it happens. You have to have if you want something to like actually work like well, you need to have a slow burn. And they're acting like I don't know what I'm talking about. And I'm like, I do know what I'm talking about because I've had a slow burn for the channel. Like, I work hard and I know how to do certain things to make it a slow burn. Like, that's the guaranteed way. Because a viral video.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's like people thinking that when videos are successful that it's like complete luck.
Yeah. It's like,
not.
You can't just make a viral video and then it just happens.
But I mean, like, even viral content, like, that's all working off of a formula, like a tested formula. Like, there are certain things that resonate with people.
Yeah.
Like, that's what marketing is all about. You're either trying to play on people's feelings or just, like, hook them in some way. And that's not, like, that doesn't just come out of thin air, you know?
And it was just...
And, like, you don't have guarantees of anything going viral, quote unquote.
Exactly. The thing is, you shouldn't base your marketing campaign on the idea of saying, I want to be like PewDiePie or I want to make a viral video. If it was that easy, it wouldn't. Yeah.
I mean, that's like basing your retirement savings off of hitting the lottery.
Yeah, exactly. Good point.
Like, good luck. Have fun with that.
So anyway, if you want to make, like, to try and support Protein Pill, and I know that, like, Protein Pill doesn't exactly say the type of things that Geek Remix would be, like, cool with, but, like, that's not what this is about right now, you know? Like,
this is not about whether we agree with everything he says. This is about the fact that he was treated shittily by a company that he was in a contract with who clearly breached the contract.
Yeah. So if you want to, like, support, like, a guy basically being screwed over for his job, like, this is how he makes money, like, I think that you should send non-threatening, but, like, messages to Machinima, like, on Twitter and stuff, like, saying, like, this isn't cool, I don't like that, like, you shouldn't treat him like that, but don't be like harassing me, like, I'm gonna fucking kill you, blah, 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 because that doesn't help anything, that makes it worse.
That makes you just look like a crazy person.
Yeah, and so if you're like, if you tell them, like, I'm not gonna support Machinima anymore, I'm only gonna support the creators and only watch their unaffiliated channels and blah, blah, and never watch the channel and blah, 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 like, that would help Protein Pill because that would force Machinima to change themselves because that's affecting their income and their image.
Hit him in the pocketbook.
Yeah, that's the best way to change something is to sternly but politely be like, I'm not going to support you anymore. And that's if you don't want to, and that's if you want to help Protein Pill. I'm like, you don't have to do that. That's just my input.
We're just telling you how to do it. We're not saying that you should or that you shouldn't. But if you wanted to help, that's what you should do. Yeah, exactly. In similar news, in which employees did not get paid, Cryotech completely fucking failed. And they had an interview with people trying to clear up their bad image that they were getting from former employees who said that, oh, we weren't getting paid and they're a bunch of assholes. In which, in the article, they said, they pretty much confirmed that they were a bunch of assholes not paying their employees. But, like, they were saying it in this kind of eloquent way. Eloquent way that was just very, like, oh, yeah, I mean, but we couldn't pay people, and it's people's own personal business, their finances. And, like, if they don't have that in order for when bad things happen, like, that's not our responsibility. And stuff like that. And I'm like, are you saying that people should have been prepared for them having a job and working but not being paid? It's, like, their fault for not getting paid by you? Like, yeah, no,
it's ridiculous. It was so bad. It was just them confirming, like, every bad thing that was being reported about them. It was just so out of touch. Like, one of the things they said was they were surprised at how people were so upset when they weren't getting paid. And I was like, you're an idiot.
How out of touch are you?
Do you not have a PR manager at all?
Yeah. God, I feel like that's somebody with any common sense whatsoever could turn around and tell you, like, hey, don't say that. Even if you're thinking it, don't say it.
You know that thing that you do when you think something and you don't say it? Do that right now.
Yeah, do that. Just keep it to yourself.
And the last bit of gaming news I have right now that's, like, from me, is that Star Citizen, the Kickstarter, like, game that people put tens of thousands of dollars in per person to get, like, special ships and stuff, has recently showed the pre-alpha footage and stuff like that, where I'll be showing the videos right now on the podcast, showing, like, things like the first-person shooter teaser and, like, what it's like for multiplayer fighting, which basically means that, like, if you have a ship, you can have a crew on the ship, and the crew can run around on the ship and control, like, turrets and stuff, like in Star Wars, as Stacey said earlier.
No, I said that to you. I didn't say that to them.
I was giving you credit for the idea.
Wars spinny thing that Luke goes into on the ship, the something hawk, and I was like,
I was giving you credit for you saying that, even though they didn't hear it. But basically what happens is that, too many right now, is that one person is captaining the ship and other people are holding the turrets and they're fighting another ship, and it's pretty cool looking. It's very interesting, and there's some other pre-alpha footage that they're showing, and it was all gameplay footage, like in-gameplay footage. It wasn't pre-rendered or anything. Mm-hmm. So that looks pretty exciting. What I don't understand is how people can donate like $10,000 to a Kickstarter and be like, yeah, I think this is a good idea.
Who has $10,000 laying around to give to a Kickstarter?
Well, I remember reading some comments by a guy who was like, yeah, basically, I'm just really rich, and I wanted the stuff in the game, and this game sounds exactly like what I've always wanted in a game, which is a MMO that's like EVE Online, but better. It's, honestly, I like the idea of a game being fully funded in such a huge way by so many people. It's a very romantic idea. Yeah. It's just that I'm like, is it gonna happen though? Like,
yeah. Well, don't you just kind of like because it's Kickstarter, it's not like you're investing in it. So it's like once you give that money, it's gone.
I think I think a lot of the people who are donating like $10,000 and stuff realize that, you know what I mean? I mean, you don't get $10,000 by being an idiot, I hope.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, I don't know.
But when they donate the money, they basically get a ship in the game or other items and stuff in the game when it first releases. And people are getting access to the early alphas and such. So, I mean, they're getting something. It just seems very...
Mari, I don't know if there's anything you could give me in a game that I would pay $10,000 for.
Let's try and think of something.
I mean, maybe if you made me the main protagonist in a game.
What if it was like an MMO?
Game that I always wanted.
What if it was an MMO and you got like your own Cloud City, like in Star Wars, and you could have like you could make the city whatever you wanted, so it could fill it with like strip bars, like titty bars, but you could also make the bylaws so that the strippers had really good unions, and like everybody had
and
to
they
like
were really fairly treated, and they actually enjoyed being there, and none of them were addicted to drugs.
Yeah, exactly. Like you could make your own laws and you can make your own laws and stuff to the city so that everybody could have sex and slut shaming just didn't even exist. And like, whoa. Okay, someone make that game now. It's not even like it's like each person would have their own planet, well, not each person, but like if you had say worked hard enough, you could get your own planet and then program the planet to have certain like behavior protocols for the NPCs. So if someone asshole wanted to be an asshole, they could have their own asshole planet, but other people could have like great planets, you know? That'd be cool. Sorry.
Yeah. I still don't know if I'd pay $10,000 for that, though.
Well, what if you had $100,000 and you got to choose how you wanted to spend it?
Yeah, but that's 10% of the money that you have.
You wouldn't pay $10,000 for your own virtual planet filled with, like, sluts who are not slut-shamed?
No.
But
that's your fantasy, Maya, not mine.
Yeah, I was putting it on Stacey, but secretly it was mine.
Yeah.
Oh
my God, you know what I would pay $10,000 for?
What?
If they created a game where I could be the captain on the Enterprise.
Wait, they already have those games. Oh, but it was like you though.
It was me. Like they actually like rendered me into the game.
Well, what if you just modded Mass Effect?
Like Mass Effect, but I am like not like I have to create it to look like me. Like it is me. It's my like
it has
my
the other
voice.
Characters straight up say Stacy.
Yeah. And it's my voice that speaks when I say things in the game, and like, yeah.
One
time Captain Picard is there, and Captain Picard like adores me, and
well, one time I was playing EVE Online. I was just like making the character and stuff. And the EVE Online character creator is like really, 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 really good. And so then I was like, I know, blah, blah, blah. I'll just make myself. And then I made myself, and I got like really scared because it looked exactly like me.
Whoa.
It looked so much like me. I was like scared. I was like kind of like freaked out seeing it walk around and stuff. And I was like, I need to leave.
Now imagine if it was like, if they could somehow put your voice into the computer, like without you actually having to record all the dialogue. Like if the computer could just mimic your voice so that like when you choose like
I think that would be the end of the world, because
like
then
when
computers
you choose
would take
options, it like actually speaks as you. Like how fucking freaky would that be?
You'd be like, okay, I no longer live. The computer kills me now.
So, are we on to other news?
Yes.
Okay. So this happened a while ago, but I'm sure you guys have heard about the Facebook study, and there was also the OkCupid study. Basically, Facebook, the reason that this all came out is because Facebook like published a research paper in which they were trying to show that social contagion, which is where one person does something and other people in their who are around them will start to mimic the behavior. They already know that this exists in the real world, and they were trying to show that it exists on online social networks like Facebook or Twitter, etc. And so Facebook conducted a study without notifying its users, in which so Facebook has an algorithm that decides like what percentage of other people's of your friends' content will be shown on your page, and which exact posts those are going to be based on a number of factors, such as who you interact with the most, who posts positive content versus negative content, and they decipher that using like a text. You know what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah.
They figure out like based on like what words are used, whether the post is positive or negative. Anyways, Facebook tweaked this algorithm so that some people were shown more positive things and more negative things. Now, it's really important to keep in mind that this was still all content posted by these people's friends. So Facebook did not create any content on its own, and they didn't change anybody's posts. So say if it was me, right? My friends are posting positive and negative things, and Facebook decides to show me more of the positive things and less of the negative things. And what they discovered was that people who were shown more positive things started posting positive things themselves, and same with the negative behavior. And the reason that they did this was to say, like, hey, if we want to keep our users happy, then we're going to show them a certain percentage of positive content. So that way not everybody gets sad all the time. Now, well, and I mean, like, that's actually a good thing. Because if all of your friends are super depressing all the time and talking about just, like, shitty, complaining stuff, the only people that you can really blame for that is not Facebook, it's your own fucking friends. Like, but anyways, people got really upset because, first of all, because they didn't know they were part of an experiment. And this happened in 2012 over a period of months. And people got really pissed about it because Facebook was basically posting a research paper being like, hey, we conducted an experiment on you and we didn't tell you about it. And in psychology, a really important thing is that people who are participating in an experiment, even if they're not aware of what the experiment is, they know that they're part of an experiment. So I personally, I hate to say it, but I don't really think this is a big deal. And that's because websites do this shit all the time. You may not know it, but every time you visit a website, they are conducting experiments to see what content works best for their users, what placement of things on the page make people click around more. Amazon conducts experiments to see how they can get you to spend more money. That's like why they recommend certain things to you that they think you're gonna like, which is an experiment that's trying to get you to spend money.
I think the thing that made people upset, I think they are aware of, like, Amazon doing all that thing. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I think the thing that made people more upset about this is that they weren't manipulating their money or their clicks or stuff. They were manipulating how they were feeling. And I think that kind of just made them feel really, like, violated.
But what do you think news websites do?
I know that they do that, but it wasn't. The news sites are manipulating your emotions to get you to click. What Facebook was doing was just straight up just trying to make you feel sad or happy. And I know that, like, doesn't, like, make much of a difference. I think the reaction to that sentiment is what made them upset. Because a news site is like, isn't this the saddest thing ever? Click on this.
No, but do you know why they do that? They do that so that they can make money.
Yeah, I think people are. I think
That's
people
worse.
expect. I think people expect for everybody to be trying to get their money. What they don't expect is to be emotionally manipulated. You know what I mean?
But, like, news websites emotionally manipulate you to make money off of you.
I think what people were expecting was when they go to a news site, they expect to see a sob story to try and manipulate them. They didn't expect to go to Facebook and just have their emotions manipulated just as an experiment. You know what I mean?
Yes, but the thing is that, like,
I'm not defending it. I'm saying that's why they were upset. It doesn't have to be a rationality.
I know, like, why they're upset, but, like, I think it's stupid that they're upset because if you, like, newsflash, if a service is free, then you are the product.
Have you ever been upset about something for a stupid reason?
Yeah, but not because a company does it. Because companies are all trying to make money off of you. It doesn't upset me anymore. It upsets me when...
Well, you also have to take into consideration that all the people who are saying that they're upset are probably, like, teenagers.
Well, and also, Mari, all the people who use Facebook are clearly stupid, so...
I don't know. I don't...
I'm not saying that seriously. I'm being sarcastic because I don't use Facebook anymore.
Oh, I don't use Facebook anymore either. But I wasn't going to say because I thought you still use Facebook, and I was like, no, they're not. And I was like,
no. I'm just making... No. I'm just making a sarcastic joke. I don't actually think that the people who use Facebook are stupid. I think that I think that people were surprised by it because they don't expect something like that of a social network, because a lot of people don't go to those sites expecting that something else is going to be going on. Like, people anticipate advertising and stuff like that, but this was something that like people didn't see coming. And it's also, they felt, you know, manipulated, I guess. And like, I understand where they're coming from, but I don't feel like people should be surprised by it, you know? Like, there's a lot of things that in the world that like I think are shitty but are not surprising to me. You know what I mean?
I think maybe, but like to somebody who's younger and not like with the world, it would be surprising.
Facebook skews older.
It does? I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know anything. Snapchat. Is that a
Yeah.
thing? Is that still in?
Facebook, Kick? Oh, yeah. No, it's like...
I am 25 years old and I'm already not with it.
I feel like, Mari, I feel like the people who tend to be more surprised by that stuff are, and this is just like my personal opinion, so I'm not, don't listen to it. But I feel like the people who tend to be more concerned with like privacy issues and like data sharing and all that stuff, it's usually people who are older who are not used to it. Like, we've kind of grown up with it.
Constantly being stalked, yeah.
Yeah, and like, especially kids who are like growing up today, like, I really don't feel like they're going to be surprised by any of it because it's just something that you deal with all the time. Even if it doesn't always inform the best choices. Case in point, people sharing photos on the internet that they shouldn't share because they're young.
Oh, Stacy,
What?
did you hear about
What?
how NASA, the WikiLeaks thing, where not NASA, at the NSA, they
Yeah.
are monitoring people and they were taking their nude photographs from pictures that they did not share, just nude photographs that they would share with just their boyfriend or something.
Oh, you mean like on their phones and stuff?
Yeah, they would go into their phones, like NSA spying on you, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's like okay. I'm just saying like it's happening. But like if you have a picture of your boob that you took a picture of for a second and then deleted, the NSA of the people they were spying on, they would take their nude photographs and share it within the NSA to other people to laugh about.
Oh,
I mean, that's like
God.
not funny. It's funny, but it's like not funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Isn't that like kind of like creepy?
Yeah.
Because I'm always like, I don't give a shit if some government employee saw my boob, but if the government employee saw my boob and then there was like, I'm going to keep this boob and share it with other people in the office, like if you're going to spy on me, be professional about it, okay? Like have some moral dignity in your spying on me, please. Like for real. You don't need to share that shit.
I think it was Snapchat who made a cheeky little tweet the other day where they were like, we see all your snaps, right?
This is a little different than that, though, because it's the NSA kind of going into your private files.
Yeah. Is it, though?
It's kind of like, it makes you think about what's going on. Like, let's say the NSA decided to, like, be like, what's Stacy about? And then they went into your shit and then found, like, I don't know. I'm completely making this up, guys. Don't think it's, like, a thing that I secretly know about Stacy, but, like, your erotic elf porn or something,
Why
you
don't
know?
you not use me as an example?
Okay. Say they were like, hey, who's this Mari person? And they were like, oh, she's got a picture of her butt and then like a really long 17-chapter erotic fantasy novel about Schizophrenia on her computer. You know? And like what I would expect is for them to be like, read the erotic and be like, there's no terrorism in this erotic fantasy here. Mm-hmm. And then also here's a picture of her butt, but I see no terrorist tattoos on that butt. What I expect them to go is like, okay, filed away. Even though I don't think that's cool either, I would think that their professional shit would be like, don't email this to the rest of the office.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, But that's the thing. Like, you know how people are.
I know how people are, but the thing is, now that we know, I think that people should at least be like, what the fuck? You know? The information is there, it's on WikiLeaks, and everyone should just be like, what the fuck, man? I thought you were just spying on me, not jacking off to me. What the hell?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like, that gets into, like, the whole privacy debate on, like, what do people actually have the right to do, you know?
But the thing is that, like, I don't know what the legal standards are, but I feel like what's in my computer that I don't have, like, if my computer is not, like, a torrent center for someone else, I don't think that other people should have the right, like, the legal right to just come in and look at it. Yeah. For the same reason, because it's inside my house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting, because, like...
I feel like they should have a warrant.
Yeah. I mean, like, I guess where it gets tricky is, like, would you rather have them not have the right to do it to anybody, or have the right to do it?
I would rather them have to get a warrant.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want them to have a warrant to be able to look through my tasteful nudes.
But I guess, like, their argument would be, like, that you'd rather have them see you and also see the people that they're actually looking for. You know what I mean?
I would rather them have to get a legal warrant that would be issued to me before that they can go through my computer.
Yeah. But I
think that is the best course of action, and I don't think that using it as for me, I don't think the excuse of, well, don't you want them looking at the dangerous people as well, is a good excuse for me to have to give up my rights to privacy.
Yeah. I guess their argument on the warrant thing would be like, what if that's too late?
Well, then, you know what? Nothing's perfect, but I want to keep my tasteful nudes to myself. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I'm not saying I agree with, like, what they're doing, but I'm saying, like, that's what
you were just playing devil's advocate. I know.
Yeah. I'm saying that because I know people are going to think that I'm being a dick about it. Because that's where the crux of the argument is like, what,
terrorism.
Like, yeah. And where do we draw the line with it? Because, you know, there is no perfect solution. There really isn't. Like, nobody... Yeah.
People are gonna shoot shit up and, like, kill people and blah, 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 blah all the time.
Yeah. And, like, in a perfectly secure society, there wouldn't be any privacy, because then they could see everything and they would catch everything. But then we would have no privacy, and people don't want that. I don't want that. Nobody does. And so you have to have privacy, which in turn, you know, compromises some security. And, like, you have to decide, like, at some point, we as a body of people have to decide, like, where you draw the line with it.
Did you see that news about the system that was going to be tracking people with schizophrenia?
No.
Which is, like... It's not funny, but it's like you're doing the exact thing that somebody who... It's supposed to make sure that you're taking your medicine as somebody who's, like, actively medicating their schizophrenia.
Oh, man.
And so it's like an application that tracks... It's on their phone, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like... they're just testing it right now with, like, 100 people. But it's like... Once the train starts rolling... where they don't take their medicine and then they're paranoid. And then once that starts rolling and they're being tracked, it's like there's nothing. It's like I'm being tracked on my phone. I better throw my phone away. It's like, I don't know how to explain what I'm feeling in my head. Like, once that crazy train starts rolling, it's just going to keep going. But I guess, like, they're just testing it out, and they had volunteers do it, like, willingly. It just seems so, like, oh, that's a common, like, delusion that you're being tracked and monitored and stalked, and then they're just kind of fulfilling it. Just doesn't seem like a...
Yeah, but I mean, if people are participating willingly, then...
The thing is, it's like they're participating willingly when they're mentally healthy.
Yeah.
And then, like, I'm sure they have it figured out.
Isn't it up to them to make the decision for themselves? Freedom, Mari.
It's up to them to make the decision for themselves. What I'm saying is, once they forget to take their medication, because it's built to be so they remember to take their medication, and if they forget, they'll be tracked and be like, this person forgot their medication, go check on them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So once they forget, and then they forget again and again, and then the train starts rolling with the paranoia, and they're being tracked, it's just going to, like, escalate things. But then again, then they're going to have somebody come in and be like, here, take your meds. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, like, then again, the other solution is to never check on them, and then...
What I'm laughing at is the irony more than this efficiency.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, yeah, I mean, you're not being tracked, but you are. But you're not. Just take your pills, man. But you're not being tracked, but you are.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that is ironic.
Yeah. Didn't you have another thingy?
I had a lot of other thingies.
Okay.
I was going to... This isn't really, like... This is just, like, a fact, but Zillow and Trulia, which were the two biggest, like, online websites where you could... essentially, like, search for apartments or homes that you want to buy. They've merged, and they're going to maintain separate websites, but together as one company, they now own 71% of the online real estate market. So, like, 71% of people who are looking to buy or rent will be visiting, like, the Zillow Trulia company. And one of them, I forget which is which, but one of them is actually more known for... maintaining they're really well known for their data visualizations. So one of them is really good with, like, crime heat maps, so that you can see, like, before you move to an area if it's really dangerous and, like, where different crimes are happening.
Yeah, I utilized that when I was moving places.
So did I, and apparently didn't listen to it.
Oh, Stacy.
Oh, me. But yeah, it's really good for especially places where the neighborhoods are very segmented, like where it's, like, really heavy crime in, like, one area, but then, like, the next block is totally fine. So it's even good to go look at it if you're, like, if you're going to, like, another area where you haven't been before, and, like, you're like, hey, I don't know if this is a good place to rent a hotel.
Yeah, like, because you know how, like, I know that, like, in the Midwest, you could be going down the street where it's, like, mansions, and then you cross the street, and you're, like, somehow you've crossed dimensions into some sort of, like, horrible place, and you're like, how did this happen?
It's, like, it, like, goes from, like, quiet tree-lined streets one moment, and then, like, the next area is, like, infested with gangs. Yeah. It's so, really, so good looking out. And then the other one is good for, I forget what. But in any case, if you're in the market to rent or an apartment or, like, buy a house, then I would definitely consider those two, because they're really helpful. I think that the one that I used to find my place was Trulia, because they have the crime map. Anyways, what else is going on? Google Analytics now has a standalone iPhone app, so if you have a website, you can now check your analytics from everywhere. I don't know why exactly you would need to look at it from your iPhone, but I think it would be helpful, like, if you're traveling, or, you know, if you're on the go and you don't have your computer on you, or if your internet decides to go out and you still want to check out your website's doing. Well,
if you're like me and you like to neurotically check your analytics all the time, exactly. I have the YouTube Creator app, which has the analytics in it for the YouTube channel. I like to constantly refresh that and be like, okay, what does that mean? And where did those come from? And what website did that come from? Oh, okay.
You can set up Google Analytics for any page or site that you own.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have like a blog and you want to see how that does like compared to your website, or you can put it on like different pages of your website to see like how one of them does versus the other, stuff like that. All right, some more facts. So like large tech companies have released their diversity reports. So this is like Google, eBay, Facebook, Apple, etc. They were put under a lot of pressure to release diversity statistics for their companies, basically because everybody was like, hey, seems like your whole company is full of white dudes. What's up with that? And the companies at first resisted because they were like, oh shit, they're going to find out that we are all white dudes.
No, we're not. No.
Yeah, no, we're not. No, we're not. So, and here are some, you can just, Google like diversity statistics for like any company and it should pull them up. But here are some of the statistics for Google. So for Google employees in the United States, they are 61% white, 30% Asian, 2% black. And then the other ones are like all below 5% also. So like Hispanic is like 3%. And then like multiracial, people who identify as that are like 4%. Now, by contrast, so 30% of the employees at Google are Asian, but only 5% of the workforce in the United States is Asian. So that's a pretty big jump for like how prevalent that is at Google. They also released that while 47% of the total workforce in the United States is made up of women, at Google around the world, it's only 30%. Now,
that's not the worst thing ever, but it could be improved.
Well, what's really interesting though is that there are some countries like around the world where their workforce is not going to be 50% women. So I'm wondering like if that's included, because when they said that they're 30% women, that's for around the world. So depending on what country you're in, like that could be pretty good.
I remember just now. I just remembered. Like I thought that they had a pretty good female employment system. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
But
Oh, you mean like to recruit women into tech?
Yeah, I just remembered that they had a pretty like a decent female like hiring system or whatever. You know what I mean?
I'm not sure about that. I do know that pretty standardly in STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and math, usually there's a lot more women like going into the field than there is after about like 3 to 5 years. And that's because,
it's a boys' club.
It's a boys' club. And so women kind of, it's like they earn the degree and they get the job and then they're kind of like, what the fuck? And they leave to go do something else.
And I know somebody's going to say like, well, maybe they're just not good. And then they realize they're not good. And I'm like, it's like, that's really not it. Like,
it's too big of a percentage. It's too big of a jump. Like over the course of 3 years, like when we, like the company that I work for, we did like reports of people in certain industries, and like I can't give you specific numbers right now, but like trust me, it's a big enough jump that it's not just people saying I wasn't good enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I can say from personal experience having to deal with a boys' club atmosphere for writing for video games and writing video game reviews and stuff. Like, you can go in there thinking like you can do it, but sometimes like having to deal with an atmosphere where it's just like all guys, and it's not the fact that it's all guys, it really isn't, because there have been all guy places that have been totally fine. It's the all guys thing where they kind of just constantly berate you and kind of just treat you like you're stupid, or like if you try and say like, I don't like being talked to like that, or I don't like being set, it's just this constantly wearing down at you like sandpaper on your face every day until you're like, finally I quit one of the places I was working for, and I was completely turned off from all video games for like 6 months until one day I called up Stacy and you're like, Stacy, we're starting our own thing. And it's going to be girls.
And it's going to be girls.
And I'm going to say vagina whenever I want.
Yeah.
So, it can be really, really just like, imagine doing something you really love, but every time you go into work, it's like everyone's treating you like you're stupid. And it's kind of just an uphill battle fighting for what you like to do. It sucks.
Yeah. And I mean, like, it's not just STEM that has this issue. Like, there are other industries around the world where it's, like, dominated by men, and it's been an issue for women to kind of, like, break into the industry. And, of course, there's, like, a lot of different reasons, like, why that might be. And it's unlikely that we're going to see any change in it for quite some time, because, you know, it has to start with, like, early education and, like, women, like, say, like, when kids are little, like, if kids are taught that, like, oh, no, like, the boys are good at math and the girls are good at home ec or, like, English, like, whatever it is, then, you know, that attitude has to change first for kids to realize that, like, hey, I like computers and I want to, like, do this. And that, you know, kids have to be encouraged. And I also don't want to act like this is, like, a problem that, like, is just like with women. So there are other industries like nursing where it's dominated by women and not a lot of men go into nursing.
Yeah, because they try to emasculate men who try to do that, even though it's a perfectly awesome job.
Oh my God. Not only is it an awesome job, but it's, like, really admirable that people go and be nurses. Like, what the fuck? Like, they take care of people.
Guys try to, like, emasculate dudes who want to be in a profession to takes care of people. It's like, what the fuck?
And, you know, and women might emasculate them too, and that's not right. Like, everybody should just be allowed to do whatever they want.
Yeah, just do it.
So, that, like, the gender equality thing is, like, definitely still in flux in this country and around the world. But, you know, people have to just finally get accustomed to the fact that, like, hey, women aren't just created to, like, make babies and cook your food and be the secretary.
And men are allowed to want to do things to take care of people and want to do things that you would assume to be feminine, but it's not. Like, men can
be a stay-at-home dad if they
be a stay-at-home dad, or be a nurse, or be a secretary, or do things that they genuinely feel fulfilling, even though society says, like, whatever. Yeah. You know, dudes, you do you. You be like a home decorator, or I don't know, a bakery owner.
Or
I don't
that
know.
A straight guy could be a hairstylist.
Yeah. Yeah. Straight guys, if you like doing hair, do it. Okay? Yeah. I bet.
So.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's all the important stuff I had.
Yep. Okay. Is there anything interesting? Oh, yeah. You, excuse me. So, Stacy, you finally saw what Final Fantasy 13 was all about.
Oh, yeah. So, I watched this person. So, I don't have a console right now, and so I actually just watched this person, like, put together all the cutscenes. And a lot of, like, it wasn't, like, just pure cutscenes. It was also a lot of, like, map exploration and stuff. So it was, like, a marathon long
It wasn't a Let's Play, though. It was just a compilation of the story.
I really did not want to watch all the combat stuff. Like, that's like way more hours than I had time to put into this. But I really did want to see like what the game looked like and get to know the characters. And it was okay. I don't know.
Vanille.
Vanille, yes. Vanille sums up my. If she wasn't in the game, I probably would have enjoyed it a lot more. But I fucking hated her. She is the embodiment of everything I hate about how women are depicted
in video games.
But
yeah. Lightning, she was cool.
Yeah, she's kind of a bitch, but I liked it.
Yeah, she was kind of like a biatch.
Like a hard ass, you know?
But, okay, now imagine Lightning as she is, and then imagine how I felt.
Boob physics?
When they were like, now Lightning comes with boob physics, and she's kind of like, ha ha ha, and I was like, oh my god, what have you done?
Too?
It's just like, okay, I hate Vanille, but the thing is, I understand that people created her, and I'm like, alright, she exists, that's your prerogative. But when you try to make Lightning into Vanille, I'm like, why are you doing this? Why are you turning into her Stepford wife? Like Vanille. I'm sorry. God, her name's Vanille, Mari.
Oh my god. Yeah. No, I think as much as I disliked Vanille, I feel like it would be traumatizing to see a strong female character brought down to that level.
Yeah, it's scary though. For some reason, in my chest, it feels scary to me.
Yeah.
You know?
And I mean, like, the other characters were kind of interesting, too.
I played the game in 2010, and I got, like, 20 hours in, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm dying. I can't do it. This is the worst. And so I stopped. But that little kid could not get over the fact that he hated that other guy. And I was like...
He does get over that at some point. So his name is Hope. And he hates Snow because he blames Snow for the death of his mother. Even though, honestly, like, when I saw it, I was like, dude, what is he upset about? Not, like, I understand him being upset about his mom, but it's like, he blames it on somebody who had nothing to do with it. Like, his mother walked into battle, like, picked up a gun of her own accord. So, I don't know.
It was just contrived drama, basically.
Yeah, and he was very whiny about it. He was like, he has to pay! There's gonna be vengeance! And I was like, relax.
I just feel like the Final Fantasy 13 story was just so weak.
Yeah, I agree.
It looked cool. It was so weak.
I agree. And amazingly, Sarah, you know the girl who turns to crystal?
Well, I don't know. Oh, yeah, it was Lightning's sister?
Yeah. She actually didn't bother me, and it's like I don't know, for some reason, like, I would have pictured myself not really liking her very much as a character, but she didn't really bother me because she was just kind of like, whatever.
I did appreciate at the time the large diversity of the types of women in there.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, I know that Vanille was really annoying, but at the very least, they were like...
They weren't all like her?
They weren't all like her. There were other people, you know, like Lightning and Fang, I think.
Fang was really cool.
Yeah. So it's like, it wasn't the worst thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
But damn, why, Vanille?
Oh my god, and they put her brand on her butt.
Yeah, you know why they put it there.
Oh god,
Why? God. It was, like, they couldn't, but the thing is, they couldn't have made it more, like a little bit, not so, like, blatant, a little bit more tongue-in-cheek, I guess. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If they had just been a little bit more finessed about the stupid baby sex kind of thing, you know? I don't know. It was just a little bit too blatant.
Well, and I feel like the other characters took her very seriously instead of kind of, like, it being a...
joke?
Like a shared joke with everybody about, you know...
her being kind of just a kind of like a realizing the type of person she was and still accepting her, but still kind of just like
being
being
like,
self-aware.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But instead it was like, no, like this is how all women are, and she's sexy, and this is how women should be. And I was kind of like, no, what?
It was kind of creepy.
It was very creepy. It was very creepy. That's why I didn't mind Sarah, because even though Sarah looked a lot like her, like she didn't have that same like babiness. Like they didn't make her a baby. Even
I mean, I don't have a problem with girls who like are just kind of, I don't know, ditzy. But Vanille kind of brought
feminine, but like they made her, they call it like infantilizing.
It was I don't mind women who are like that in real life because they're like real women, and that's just not the entirety of who they are. They're just kind of just bubbly, you know. Yeah. But like I kind of feel like when I looked at Vanille, am I saying it right?
Yeah.
I kind of felt like I was looking at a toddler in a woman's body, and this was supposed to be sexy, and it was really weirding me out in like a really like gross way.
Didn't it feel like you were almost like she was the embodiment of some like sick pervert's fantasy?
It was really weird. I felt like I was looking at someone's boner dream.
Ugh.
I don't know. I just felt like they put the personality of a toddler in an adult woman with a beautiful...
Well, she was still supposed to be a child. She was still supposed to be, like, younger. She wasn't, like, an adult.
I don't know. I just it felt very, like, wrong.
I feel like it was even weirder because she was supposed to be, like, because she was supposed to be about Hope's age, which I don't know how old that was, but, like... They talked about her a couple times being like a kid. So I don't think she was like as old as you know, she wasn't like an adult like Lightning or Fang or Snow. But I feel like that made it even creepier because it was kind of like a Lolita fantasy.
Oh God, no. I don't want to think about that. All right. That's the end of that podcast. Goodbye, guys. The end.
The end.